Welcome to the Frog Pod, your weekly video podcast series by Costa Rican Vacations. I'm your host, Adam Baker, and as you know by now, every week I chat to friends, colleagues, and industry experts regarding everything Costa Rica related. Today we've got an interesting topic, which is adult only. And to discuss this in more detail, I'm here with Angus, one of our travel consultants at Costa Rican Vacations, and Victoria. Victoria, how's it going?
It's going very well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good to see both of you. Nice to see you, Luke.
It's always nice to see you, Adam.
You're looking very happy.
Well, so, I'm always happy.
Excellent.
I've had coffee, it's all
Indeed. All right, Victoria, for those of us, or those of our audience members who don't know you, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've actually been in Costa Rica since I was 3 years old. My mom brought me here. She wanted to be a biologist. And so I was lucky enough to grow up in this little piece of paradise. And I've left maybe to finish high school in the States, but I just couldn't stay away. So as soon as I turned 18, I packed up my bags and I made my way back here by myself. And here I am.
And Luke, a fellow Brit like myself, what brought you over? How long have you been here?
But from the nice part of England.
The northern part.
The northern part.
Away from all the farms in the south.
Just the poor local nice people.
I see. Okay. You can tell by the accent.
Married to a local, which is why I'm here. But we lived in the UK for a long time, and we just decided that one day we would move here and give it a go, and that happened 5 years ago. And we haven't left yet, and I haven't been kicked out yet.
Nice.
So I've got 3 kids, all under the ages of 9, 3 little monsters. But I've been coming backwards and forwards to Costa Rica for, how long have we been married for? That kind of
As he looks up to his left side, recollecting.
But no, I've been coming backwards and forwards for 12, 13 years.
Nice. The topic today is an interesting one, the idea of adult only. I guess the best place to start, and maybe Victoria, you can help us out with that. Obviously, if you just throw that term around, adult only, what does that mean in terms of tourism here in Costa Rica?
Well, I feel like people are usually looking for something a little bit more secluded and a little bit more quiet, like an oasis. Like when you're coming to Costa Rica, you're looking for that, tropical oasis away from screaming and everything like that. So, while there are lots of beautiful family-friendly hotels in Costa Rica, there's just a few that are just so good at being the adult only, and it's just the perfect escape for like honeymoons and anniversaries and that type of thing. So, yeah, it's a great destination for it.
Avoid the kids. And Luke, to be fair, it doesn't immediately mean nudism on the beach, right?
Depends which beach. Depends what kind of vibe you want.
Exactly.
But it's definitely, I don't know, there's a lot of people that want adult only, and we've got options. But there's also times of the year you can come which open up your options when the kids are at school. So yeah, I think people get like a little bit blinkered when they come here.
Before we get into, we're definitely going to look at some of the best options we have when it comes to all-inclusive. But to the same reason, adult only tends to be a more romantic option for a lot of people. And that, we talk about romantic getaways, honeymoons. What makes Costa Rica so great for honeymoons initially? Why would you think this is a good destination?
Well, because there's a little bit of everything for everyone. I've seen it many times planning vacations that, opposites attract. So usually you will have a husband that wants one thing and a wife that wants another, and Costa Rica is just so great for being able to get beach and volcano and being able to get some adventure and some relaxation and getting a nice spa, but still getting to go like deep into a canyon or something. So and it's awesome to be able to do even private adventures where it's just you and your loved one, and you're getting to experience these amazing adventures that you've probably never done before, and it's like the start of a new chapter. So yeah, I think it's just like a great place. Great place for it,
Yeah, that's true. Luke, when you hear about your clients who've come back from a honeymoon that you planned, like Victoria says, what is it? Is it really? It must be quite exciting to hear about all those first experiences. What a great vacation you planned.
No, yeah, definitely. I think you put something together, and you're always hoping that that you've found exactly what they're looking for. And I think the backdrops and stuff, and the scenery and the environments that people go to. Most of the time, you're onto a winner. That there's some rooms that that for honeymooners, those kind of couples, adult only, and you just got these stellar views. It doesn't matter what the hotel's like sometimes.
Yeah, true.
You got a backdrop of like the rainforest, volcano.
Exactly. Beach, papagayo.
Same sunset.
And it just kind of makes a honeymoon.
Yeah.
It's true. Costa Rica is one of those places where you have so much geography in such a small space. Mountains, rainforest, cloud forest, volcanoes, beaches. You can be pretty much everywhere inside a short period of time, right?
Yeah.
Even coming over from the States. Talking about specific resorts and some of these great views, when it comes to adult-only resorts and all-inclusive resorts, Victoria, what's our options? And why should people be aware of resorts? We're going to talk about boutique hotels in a minute, but maybe you can give us some adult-only options when it comes to those larger properties.
Well, there are some that are like a resort, but they don't necessarily feel that way as much. They have like a more of a villa feel kind of. There's some like Gaia, for example, in Manuel Antonio, that's kind of like it's a mountain reserve and everything, and it's more geared towards adults and everything. And you still have all these different options. You have activities on site, you have activities off site. You have a great spa that's just really merges you with nature and things like that. So that's one that I think is great, and their prices are very reasonable as well for being on the beach, close to the beach. And then there's other ones like Royal Caribbean in Arenal that are like they're geared more towards adults. They're not necessarily adult only, but they do cater more towards couples and older people, and it's a little bit more relaxing and everything. And the same thing, they have plenty of restaurants, and they're in a great vicinity to just go and explore the nearby areas as well. So.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good examples. They're like smaller resorts. They're bigger than boutique hotels, but they're not your massive 500 resort plus.
Exactly. I mean, because it's not necessarily. I mean, there's like Occidental Papagayo as well. That's another. It's a big resort. But you can. I feel like when you come to Costa Rica, you can also find something that's more in tune with Costa Rica than something that you could pretty much get in the Caribbean or in any other destination.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Luke, how common is it for resort when we say adult only? What's the cutoff? Because I know it varies depending on where you are.
It depends. Some are very strict at sort of 17, 18, and then you've got others that are around somewhere between 13 to 16 cutoff point.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of kind of leeway. Normally you'll find that there'll be no one under the age of 13. There's a few that are very like, you need to be 17, 18 to be in the hotel. So normally I guess you're going to find that you're going to be away from the very small children, and you're going to have sort of young adults that are kicking.
Yeah. And if you are a couple and you're looking for the resort type experience, the larger one that we're talking about, there's still, there's a couple out there. I know we work with the Western Conchal.
Yep.
They have what's called in their eyes the Royal Beach.
The Royal Beach rooms.
The Royal Beach rooms. So in the suites, explain to the audience how is it to stay in a property which is geared towards families and resorts, but also focuses on the adult-only side of things.
So you've got something like the Western where they've got one section of the hotel is exclusively for 17 and overs. You've got a separate pool. You've got a separate pool bar. You've got a separate concierge. You've got a separate section completely where only for over 17s.
Yeah.
So you can relax by the pool. You can have that kind of, they've got little cabanas there, and you can have all of that adult-only time.
Yeah.
But then you still have all of the amenities from a larger resort. So you can go, if you want to, down to the main part of the resort. You've got the beach.
Yeah.
So you get the best of both worlds. You can have that peace and quiet away from the kids.
Yeah. And it does feel like that, right?
Yeah.
You can't hear them. Actually, it's not like the resort's right next door.
No, exactly. It's a big enough resort that when you're there, you could be in a separate hotel.
Yeah.
Especially if you have nature, like you have maybe the ocean crashing. Like sometimes even the ocean kind of, muffles down noise if there is any. But the great thing is that there's also like there's like moderate properties as well as higher end properties that are all looking, even though they're family friendly, they're still looking to try and incorporate that side of things where not everyone is looking to, be in a very bustling environment. So, there's even little properties in Tamarindo that have like a little section as well that have like its own pool and its own bar.
Yeah, good point.
So that's really nice as well.
Yeah. Speaking of that, let's get right into it. Boutique or all-inclusive, or boutique hotel resort when it comes to romance? What are the pros and cons?
I I feel like I would go for boutique, mostly because of the kind of like a more personalized feel and more intimate as well. Just if you are looking to be with just that significant other than it is, I think that a boutique hotel just really helps you like get in that mindset, you know, and it with the little tiny details, little, you know, honeymoon amenities and things like that. It just, I don't know, it just like really makes it. So I think the boutique is what I would go for.
The service is a big part of it, right? As well as feeling that exclusivity.
The experience, yeah, I feel like the experience is so much more different than, you know, being in a place where you all have the same rooms and you're all next to each other, and you're at the beach and you all have cabanas next to each other. Whereas in a boutique hotel, you might have like spread out cabanas, and you know, you might have a little bit more of a quiet area for the massage and, you know, things like that. So so yeah.
Luke, do you have any? What's your favorite boutique adult-only property? Personally, look at the size.
I don't know, because there's some hotels that depends on the region too.
Okay, give me something by the beach in the northern region, Guanacaste. So perhaps I'm a client.
So I think if you want something that's small, that's boutique-y, that's romance, that you're going to have no kids at all.
Yeah.
You've got Villa Buena Onda.
Playa del Coco.
Yeah, which is great views. You know, not too many rooms. You're going to have no kids there, and it's going to be really peaceful, really romantic.
Yeah, and the service is great.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Great.
It's a good example.
And if you move sort of down into Arenal, two options for me is Niagara Springs.
Super high end.
Super high end, private hot spring pool. You know, you've got a more Arenal's just opened as well. Similar kind of vibe, you know, with plunge pool, rainforest shower. You know, you can get in the shower and show the monkeys your stuff.
Yeah, because they want to see it.
They want to see it.
They want to see it.
No, it's just, there's something about taking a shower out and just, you know, displaying everything to the
adult only. World. I mean, you know, we're getting back to it.
So there's a couple there. You go, you get down into sort of the Central Pacific. There's a couple of options in the Central Pacific too, and then you can really head out sort of off-piste. You know, places like Pequari and Napa Rios, which don't have many kids on site.
That's true. But they're not necessarily adult only. It's just the isolation, right?
Just the isolation, and they're just not suitable for really small kids.
Yeah. That's true.
They're just
the ride to get there is
exactly.
a little bit long. And,
Cura, if you want something.
Cura Design Villas is a great option.
Yeah.
High up, overlooking. Pablo, you've been to Cura, right?
Yeah, I went for my honeymoon.
Yeah, you loved it?
Yeah.
No kids?
No kids.
Exactly.
No kids.
Yeah.
The service is personalized.
Yeah, they've got more staff than guests.
Yeah, which is quite uncommon. Usually 2 to 1, right?
Yeah. It's,
yeah.
So there's some options. It just depends on
what you're looking for.
Vibe you want.
What about your favorite place, Victoria?
My favorite place is going up with Nayara. Just because of every little detail, it's just so well put together. I think Nayara is one of my top favorite, but there's others like that maybe are not necessarily adult only, but they're more geared towards adults. I feel like even Cala Luna.
That was my next question. Most romantic hotel that's not necessarily adult only.
Because Cala Luna is just so beautiful, and I love its location. Just being, it's like got the best of both worlds, where you feel like you're secluded in a secluded jungle, but at the same time you're just like right down the street from Tamarindo and the beach there. Well, it's just one of the best sunsets as well. So I really love that. Those are like two of my favorites, like in those areas actually.
It's funny sitting here in the studio in San Jose talking about all these places that we've been to. It's incredibly romantic. You've got such a huge spectrum when it comes to resorts, boutique places. Cala Luna's a lovely spot. The sunsets at Playa Langosta. Yeah.
That whole region there, I feel like from Papagayo all the way down to Langosta, you just have some just mind-blowing sunsets there.
Yeah, it certainly makes it. Speaking of most romantic, Luke, when it comes to restaurants, highest, like most romantic places, where have you taken the missus recently? Did you use that? Luke, I appreciate that.
KFC.
KFC. Any specific? No.
Very adult only.
Free refills.
Free refills.
Free refills.
I hope she's not listening. If she is, you might be in trouble.
No, she knows. She wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, she knows. Okay. Yeah.
Where have I been recently? That's.
It doesn't have to be necessarily even in San Jose. Like where your clients are perhaps in the northern region, in Mount Antonio.
No, like I think you're going to find that when you get out of San Jose, you are going to. There's some of the hotels have got phenomenal restaurants.
Right.
I've just been to Angus, and they've got fantastic views from the restaurants up there. So there's a lot of restaurants for me that have got phenomenal views. I'm trying to think of it.
Especially when you're in Andes and there's no KFC nearby. I
brought some with me.
Second best ever. You really.
There's also Sentido Norte at Casa Camaleon.
Ah, I've not been there.
Oh, you have to.
What's the kind? What food are they serving?
On the top right, overlooking Las Catalinas. Beautiful, insane 360, like almost like one of the views.
I've heard of Casa Camaleon. I've not been. You went there, travel.
Oh my goodness!
Pablo.
I just came back from around there this weekend, and I'm just like, the sunsets are just, even in green season, like green season, I feel like they're even nicer. But the view from there, day or night, is beautiful as well, and the food. Is
Casa Camaleon adult only?
It is.
Okay.
It is actually another one of my favorites.
Yeah, I've seen imagery and it looks stunning.
Yes, and I love that they have 3 different types of villas facing the sunrise or the sunset. So depending if you're a morning person, you know, you can enjoy a nice little sunrise, or if you're not so much, then you can enjoy a beautiful sunset.
Sunset always.
From your private plunge pool, it's really, really nice.
Not a bad spot. You figured out where you're eating yet?
No.
No? There's loads of good places to eat. Luke just...
There is, there is, and there's some fantastic, and there's a lot of places with just phenomenal backdrops. It's like, whether you want to go and eat, just take a drink, just kind of sit there with a coffee. There's a lot of restaurants that just have, panoramic views of the ocean, of the rainforest.
That's what it's worth noting the amount of hotels where they've designed their restaurants overlooking the prime location as to where they are, whether that's facing the volcano, Arenal Kyoto, Nayara Springs.
They're good at bringing the outside.
Yeah. Even the smaller places. We were shooting in a 3-star lovely boutique hotel called Casa Luna. And even their small restaurant, they have this huge frame of the volcano from a different angle. And and it makes it, like you're saying, Casa Camaleon sounds like it's fantastic with those views. Arenas del Mar looking over Mount Antonio National Park. So they do definitely make it romantic.
There's even Grano de Oro here in San Jose. I feel like it's a great restaurant to visit. I mean, at least for your last night before heading back home, because it's a Forbes restaurant. I mean, it's a very, very, very well put together menu. So that's another one of my suggestions if you're in San Jose. So true. Yeah. When I was selling vacations all those years ago, I would always either start or end with either Grano de Oro, French Victorian restaurant, delicious. Even think of Rosa Blanca. Views of the Central Valley. Tigre Vestido. It's delicious food. View from there too, day or night as well. Yeah. Especially when you're being welcomed to the country. It's a great way. Yes, it's a good way to end it or to start it.
Yeah. This is a good question, perhaps for you, Luke. Is it easy to get married in Costa Rica?
Good question. I think it is. Although I didn't, but it is easy to get married. It's the same, and there's paperwork to be filled out, and there's things, but it's not difficult if you want to. Yeah. There's a lot of people who come here to elope without the families. There's people who come and do, the bigger sort of more traditional wedding.
Have you helped out many guests that have been looking for that?
Yeah, no, we get a few, and we've got a good wedding planner now, and it just depends on what you want. So it's as easy as anywhere else. You can get married pretty much anywhere in the country. There's no stipulations. Like in the UK, you have to get married in like a registered place.
Okay.
Where here you can get married in some really great locations.
Yeah. In the middle of the jungle.
Yeah.
On the bottom of a waterfall.
When it comes to romantic experiences, I'd love to hear from you, stories from you guys. What's the nicest, without too much detail? Luke's looking at me like, oh, where's Adam going with this? When you're escaping the kids, Luke.
Well, yeah, and I try to do it once a year.
Yeah, and you're not looking for KFC.
Yeah, I'm not looking for KFC. Topic. So, my favourite so far, La Parillos.
What was so magical about that?
We've got one of the bungalows, although there's like a lot of steps, and both directions. Don't forget anything in the room.
Yeah.
But you've got this beautiful room. Everything's open to the elements. You've got obviously something to keep the bugs out. You've got this beautiful deck, rainforest shower, panoramic view of the rainforest, the coastline. You've got, scarlet macaws flying past your window. What more can I ask for?
It's stunning. It was one of my favorite places.
You can shower outside. You can, if you want to lie in your veranda.
And it's not just monkeys that will see
Chico
everything.
Paringo.
Exactly. Scarlet macaws.
Scarlet macaws.
And
But
it's Chico Paringo.
So funny.
But it's
nice, right?
Yeah, you can't beat it. If you want to get away, there's just some places where you can, your phone doesn't work.
Yeah.
Which is awesome for me.
It's funny you say that. I was there a few months ago with my partner, and I'd requested a king bed just because we wanted the space. We were a couple. Apparently, of the 17 rooms they have, the king beds are on the last two, 18 actually, I think, 17 and 18. You mentioned the steps. I didn't realise, and I've been to La Pirias a couple of times, but I'd never been that far down. It's a small marathon getting to the bottom of that place.
You're an athlete. For you to say that.
And I was feeling a bit off, like that weekend as well. I wasn't feeling very well.
You're like,
oh
no,
my God.
But it's worth the steps.
You have dengue.
Is it dengue? No, wasn't it? I felt like it. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, my goodness me.
But it's worth it,
it's a stunning place.
But they'll drop coffee off in your room on the morning, so you don't have to go upstairs to get a coffee. You can it's for so much seclusion, romantic.
Yeah. Even tea.
Yeah.
If you're not looking for coffee.
Yeah, that's right.
What about your experiences, Victoria? Where's the nicest place you've been in terms of places you've just escaped and loved?
Well, I love Tabacon. Tabacon and Arenal, I think, is just, again, I mean, Nayara is beautiful and everything, but I feel like if your budget is not, up there with Nayara, then I think Tabacon is a really good way to, kind of go big or go home. You have that Shangri-La Gardens that are just, man, we were there just a few weeks ago, actually, and we got home and unpacked our bags, and we could still smell like the smell of our room, and we were like,
take me back.
Shangri-La Gardens.
Yeah.
It was just so good. And I think that's one of our favorites so far. And then and then on the beach, I think Casa Camaleon, I think, is just beautiful. I think their service, that whole area there, is just very, very well put together when it comes to service and good food and beautiful views and lots of activities too. Even though it's a little bit far away from things, you can still get some nice activities within the area, get some hiking trails and that type of thing. And get some water activities as well. So I think those are two beautiful spots.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, for those of you watching on YouTube, we'll put all the links in the description box below to these places so you guys can check them out. For those that haven't been, can you explain Shangri-La Gardens briefly? Because it is an amazing place.
It is nice and hidden. What I was expecting it to be a lot more straightforward, but you go through the hot springs that are family friendly, and there is just so many that no matter what time of year, I feel like there's space for everyone. It doesn't feel like Disney World or something like that. And then you just go up the mountain a little bit and finally make it into this little walkway that's like almost like an Asian temple kind of garden. It's just so quiet and everything. They got nice little like soft music, and there's a bartender there that will serve drinks up to the cabanas and everything. There's cabanas sprinkled out throughout the gardens and everything. So I feel like it's just like, we spent a whole day there. We feel like we needed to leave. You could order food there as well. So it's just like you could just wake up, have your breakfast, head on over to the hot springs, and then come back when dinner is ready. Just
lovely, right?
Day there. It's just very relaxing.
And it's adult only, over 18s, and obviously Tabacon gets quite busy sometimes with the locals as well, and the other tourists using. It's exclusive to the guests.
It's only guests that are staying at Tabacon can stay there. So even if there are day passes, because there are day passes to visit Tabacon for those who want to visit the hot springs there, but Shangri-La Gardens only for guests.
Beautiful. Well, guys, as always, we ask our listeners and our audience to get in touch with us. We have a couple of questions. Luke Dennis Taylor's asking on YouTube, looking to get away with my wife and explore Costa Rica. What package do you have that mixes adventure and beach, but with adult-only hotels with a moderate budget?
Okay, so
He hasn't said how long, but let's go for a week.
Yeah, go for a week. It also depends on a little bit sort of on the time of year, but do something an hour now. You've got, Royal Caribbean's probably going to be, a good starting point.
Yeah.
It's not exclusively adult only, but it's really pushing to that with a number of people that are in the room, so you won't have many kids there. And then moving across to the beach, if you want something that's, down in the Central Pacific, you've got something like Gaia, which will probably be a really nice package if you want to go up to the Northern Pacific. Probably something like Villa Buenonda, and you can do plenty of activities with the two. You're going to find that most hotels that have adult only, you're going to be looking at sort of 4-star and above, really, as a starting point.
It's a good point.
There isn't too many that are. There's nothing that's sort of under that kind of level. You're going to be sort of more at a kind of deluxe level to get that. Or if you want something at a cheaper budget, there is some rooms, you could go to Lomas, they've got like an adult sort of only sort of room, which just has a king bed in it with the jacuzzi on the balcony with, a view of the volcano.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can still get that vibe, just, come when the kids, May. All the kids should be in school. If they're not, you should have a word with the parents, get them chased. So there is times of the year as well that you can come and there is less kids in Costa Rica in general.
There's even Tamarindo Diria that has the Tropicana section. So if you're looking for something moderate, you can, stay there.
So that's a really good point. We're incredibly flexible. Time of year does make a difference, but even the different type of property in that mid-range budget, because you get reasonable hotels at 4 stars.
Yeah, exactly. And it opens, I think, time of year, it does open up your thing. If you're going to come spring break or you're going to come in sort of, Christmas or New Year, there's going to be a lot of families. Everyone's off on vacation.
Yeah.
So if you really don't like kids at all in the slightest.
I don't know about Dennis, but Dennis,
Dennis, if you don't like kids,
he may, with his wife, I think maybe he wants to escape his own kids. Who knows?
Well, that's the other thing. Sometimes you do want to escape your own kids.
Exactly. There you go. And you did it, Lapa Rios.
My daily struggle.
So Royal Caribbean's a good option, and then another nice option, the Gaia hotels we were discussing in Mount Antonio, or up in the north, Villa Buenonda, great spots. And Victoria, Mary Livingston on Facebook was asking, which is the best beach to get married on in Costa Rica? Got a choice there.
Ooh, there's so many that are so beautiful. It depends if you want a white sand beach or a black sand beach.
Give me your top 2 or 3. Yeah.
Because we do get requests for that as well. But I think Conchal is definitely a favorite for many, and because of the shell being a shell beach, it's got that white sand effect. And I even think that a mangrove can pull it off, because with that beautiful black sand that they have and everything, I think that they have a beautiful setting there as well that they can really make a nice little venue for it. So I think those are 2 nice little settings on the beach. Then I would say that if you want something more like rainforest or something, depending if you want something very Costa Rican authentic, I love Villa Blanca because of their historic little church in there as well. And it's just like such a nice little venue with the cloud forest surrounding and everything. Beautiful pictures come out.
Yeah, Villa Blanca, the tiny chapel is a beautiful spot. The cloud forest backdrop.
So those are, I think, are nice. And then of course, you got Nayara, which would definitely pull off a really very beautiful wedding as well.
But well, there you go, Mary. I mean, those 2 beach options are really good. Playa Conchal is going to be the slightly larger resort, the Western or the W, and then you've got the slightly more boutique resort in El Mangrove, right on the beach for the black sand. Both lovely options. Guys, I think you've answered those questions spectacularly. We're going to finish off with a 50-50, as usual. It's a quick fire segment where I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You need to give me your immediate response.
It's like yes, no, or
tense. No, it's not going to be yes, no. It's going to be either or. Yeah, I'm going to give you 2 options. You've got to fire it back at me. Okay. You don't have to look too worried. Unfortunately, there's no prize. Just your pride, perhaps. Depends on the answers you give me.
Frog pod mug.
A frog pod mug. Well. Yes, for the duration of the hour, then you need to wash it and hand it back.
It's like rented.
It's rented, exactly. I had to sign off. Okay, here we go. So, first one, getting married on a beach or in the rainforest?
Rainforest.
Okay, there you go. Honeymoon in Costa Rica or Hawaii?
Ooh, Costa Rica, of course.
Okay, good. You both passed that. Adult-only resort or adult-only boutique hotel?
Boutique.
Boutique hotel. of course.
Guys, write down this. Awesome. Relaxing spa treatment or late night party?
Late night party.
I'd probably go for the treatment.
Okay, here we go. Netflix and chill or Costa Rica night walk tour?
The night walk tour.
Night walk tour.
Definitely have to.
Nobody's network and chill.
It's
Guys,
insane. The
awesome.
night walk tour. Got to do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. No, I totally agree. I thought I'd just throw it there. You know, maybe you're a Netflix and chill kind of guy. Well, guys, before I leave you, I like to always ask one question. Victoria, I'd love to know your answer because I usually ask, what do you wish you knew before you came to Costa Rica? Being 3 years old, I don't know if you recollect any of that. No. But maybe a better question for is, what was it that drew you back after studying in the US?
Well, I'll tell you what, though. I feel like that's kind of a trick question because when I moved back when I was 18, I feel like I should have known some stuff that I wish I knew. Which when my mom first got here, when I was 3, laws about work were a lot less strict than they are now. So when I got here when I was 18, I was like, I speak English. I'll get a job as a teacher. No, it's not the way it goes out here. The job regulations, just like in many other countries these days, have gotten very strict. So finding a job is not necessarily as easy for an expat. Unless you're coming with a nice little chunk of savings that'll kind of help you subside, like hold off for a while. But yeah, I mean, I think that that was basically what I wish I knew when I got back. But I still don't regret it. I'm still here. Yeah.
Really good answer. Luke, anything you wished you knew? Obviously, it sounds like you've been traveling here a little bit before you moved here.
Yeah, so I had a good. I knew what I was letting myself in for. Because I'd been backwards and forwards. I think the only thing is I wish I'd known how bad a driver I would become once I actually lived here.
Okay, and then it affected you.
Yeah, no, because I was very polite and courteous back in the UK.
In the UK, this has come up quite a few times.
Yeah, no, and you flash your lights, let people out. Where here, flash your lights means let me in. And
yeah.
So I think that was one thing that I wish I'd known out, because when I go back now, I'm very aggressive.
I'd love to do a whole podcast just on people's driving stories. Yeah. We've literally had this come up on every other. It's a funny one.
It's like when Costa Ricans stick their arm out the window here and they do that.
Yeah,
it just means I'm pulling out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what's happening. I'm doing it.
I'm about to go.
I'm going to make eye contact, and then it's going to happen.
Eye contact. That just needs to come out the window, and it needs to be like.
I know.
I'm go in anyway.
Yeah, that's the point.
It's funny because I'm from Florida, and it's like defensive driving in Florida. Like that's what they like. I've not seen better defensive driving than in Costa Rica. Like Floridians need to come here to learn how to drive. Okay,
there you go. That's probably saying a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
People always ask, they're like, "Oh, can you drive here?" It's like, well, of course you can drive here. You might not want to.
Depends on the definition.
This is stressful sometimes.
Yeah,
right.
Totally. Well, it wasn't stressful, guys. Chatting with you for the last half hour. Solid work. I hope we answered some of those questions regarding adult only. Luke, Victoria, thank you both for coming in. It's been a blast.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
Guys, I hope you found that chat on the topic of adult-only theme here in Costa Rica helpful. If you guys have any questions for me and you're watching on YouTube, let me know in the description box below or reach out to us, Costa Rican Vacations, on Facebook. As always, please don't forget to subscribe with us to stay in touch for your weekly episode. For the Frog Pod, I'm Adam Baker. Hasta la próxima.